I suppose I didn't get off to a very good start because my wrong date of birth was on the church records. My father's sister became my godmother and her husband became my godfather. And I was born on the 11th of November. That's in the year of our Lord, 1920. The problem was that at that time in Belfast, Northern Ireland, the shooting was going on frequently in the streets, and it was a forerunner of the Troubles which would lie ahead through the 1960s and 70s. But the idea was that I should go to church to be baptized. I should be taken to church to be baptized, and Aunt Anne and Uncle Dan were to be the godparents. Now, with all the shooting going around in the city of Belfast, it's not surprising that they were confused about the date. So instead of being listed and registered as the 11th of November, which is Armistice Day back then was Armistice Day, they recorded it as the 12th of November. And whenever my birthday came around on a year-to-year basis, my mother would always scowl and say, those stupid people couldn't even remember the day that you were born, the correct day you were born. It's not surprising, like when the people are shooting around the neighborhood, you know, you're apt to forget these little details. But at the same time, my mother was usually unhappy at that particular time because there was no way of changing the date. And she would always refer to them, those stupid people that couldn't even get that fact straight. So I was always sort of divided between what my mother said and what had actually happened in the church, because I always thought that I was somehow 24 hours too soon or 24 hours too late when it came to having a birthday. And for one reason or another, maybe it was being the second son of a second son there, I was to turn out to be the favorite of my parents, highly resented by my older brother and older sister. Now, not being very bright there, I didn't realize that if you were the favorite of a family, you could get away with murder. So I didn't think enough about taking advantage of the situation. But I got certain privileges which the rest of the family, my 2 brothers and 2 sisters, didn't have. I apologize for that. My 3 brothers and my 2 sisters, they didn't have the same privileges I have, but I didn't see it that way because no one, even though my older brother would grunt once in a while there, I still didn't get the hang of being the family favorite. So there would be a certificate of First Communion, confirmation, hanging on the wall. There'd be certain photographs which might hang on the wall, and I never give them all a second thought, because you had to be smart to realize that as a family favorite you could get away with a certain degree of murder. But once a year I was sent over to do my obligations to the godparents. I had to go over to the McAlindens and present myself just to show them that their godchild was an upstanding citizen to be. I had nothing in common with the McAlinden children, nothing at all, a couple of brothers, a couple of sisters, and it was an awkward situation to be placed in because you don't get too much conversation from someone who is 6 or 7, 8 or 9 years old, but I had to make that trip every year. My godfather, Joe McAlinden, I may have called him something different at the beginning yet or something, but Joe was the pillar of the church, St. Paul's Church, to a degree there that he spent more time there, I think, in church looking after things than he did at home. My father used to refer to him as Holy Joe, which didn't get my mother's approval at all. But he was just a little man with a Hitler moustache before Hitler made it popular. And the McAlindens lived in what was called the mixed neighbourhood of Belfast, which meant usually that the Catholics were on one side of the street and Protestants were the other. And the side of the street that you walked on indicated your religion. It was pointed out to me, you didn't cross the street in the middle of the block. No, when you went into the street, you picked your side very, very carefully and stayed on it. You tried to stay off the centre of the road. Although I suppose if you had been Jewish, that would have been the place to walk, in the centre of the road. But the McAlindens were sort of on the outskirts of the family, and we didn't see too much of them except at the usual wake or wedding, and they were never assimilated into the actual family itself, the McAlindens. So, but that was just another one of my father's sisters who were probably as odd a bunch of relatives as the average family has.